Hey friends, how you doing? Welcome back to my channel. It is TheTranspondster here with you today, and we are hopping right on back into another speed build. What else is new? This is a pretty big build happening today. I'm actually building a French inspired farmhouse, and when I say farmhouse, I more mean the architecture of it. This could very well be a big farm home, but this family that lives here more just has it as a hobby farm in their yards space area, so you'll see what I mean as the build evolves. It is also a multi-generational home. I do have a family created to live in this home, and in my mind, the multi-generational aspect, it's almost similar to the Delgado house rebuild that I did, almost to a T actually, in the floor plan, which is kind of funny because they're inspired on totally different parts of the world. But it's the front bump out area on the right side when you're looking at it from the front, and it's basically a one bedroom apartment. So in my mind, the eldest daughter, who is a young adult sim, is going to move into that apartment space. She actually owns the flower shop cafe that I built a little while ago on my channel. I'll link that video at the end of this one if you want to watch that, since they're both built in Windenburg, so they're kind of in similar architectural themes. But yeah, and then there is a teen daughter as well that's living here, and then both the parents. So the family is going to be very nature loving and intellectual. They like their books and their arts and crafts and just slow living in general. It's definitely a play style I gravitate towards, so don't be surprised if you see more families and builds similar to this one. It's just what I like to do, so you're gonna have to bear with me if you're hanging around here, which I hope you guys are actually. But yeah, the roofing is always a tricky one to do on big builds, but I think this one came together quite nicely. It was definitely an intimidating roof to do. After the Delgado one, oh my gosh, that one took me forever. Although that home was definitely bigger than this one, although maybe not by that much. I don't know. This one I just happened to figure out the trick early on, and I didn't have to cut out a good 30 minutes of me building and demolishing the roof. So we're happy about that for sure. Obviously, I changed the color too because the OG roof texture is just a little terrible. Maybe it's just too basic. We're all too used to it, but I jazz up 98% of my roofs, that's for sure. And then, of course, I'm trying to go with the cottage feel, so I'm going to be using a lot of Cottage Living. I find that Cats and Dogs also has some pretty decent cottagey feeling furniture and like hardwood for the home, the windows and doors and stairs and such. So I definitely utilize those packs. This build's going to be a pack heavy build. There's no doubt about it. When I get a build this big, I definitely shy away from doing a limited pack build because I rely on what's in the game, the DLC. I don't typically use CC. Sometimes I do for my shorts or on TikTok, but that's just kind of so I can have fun building something a little bit different. I don't even typically play with CC when it comes to my own personal gameplay. I don't do a lot of gameplay, so maybe that's why I had a bad run in with CC and mods back in my Sims 2 days when I was maybe a preteen, and I downloaded a virus on the family computer. I got in some big trouble for downloading things off the internet, and yeah, I've just been a little cautious ever since. But my Discord community has definitely opened me up to some CC, and I trust those people in there. So hopefully my computer stays safe this time, because I care about my little baby, the computer baby, not my real baby. Although I care about him too. Don't tell anyone I said that, please. That sounds bad. It's definitely not like that. I love my baby. I did some lights there at random. I don't usually do that. Usually I leave all the lights to the end, but I guess I was trying to pick out a particular style for the front. I had something in my head, a vision, and I had to see it come to light right then and there. I also don't do terrain paint this early in builds typically, because I've had a lot of instances where it disappears on me and I have to re-terrain paint it, but this one seems to have lasted thus far, so I hope when you download it from the gallery it's still there. I say that almost every video. Also, because the daughter that owns the flower shop, one of her favorite colors is yellow, I had to get some sunflowers in here, and then I based the rest of the florals off of that, and the fact that I had some purple on the mailbox. I think I maybe tie that into the landscaping a little bit more in the latter end of this video, or even just later in the video. I can't remember when I actually came back to landscape. I love doing these like walk across second levels where it's this grand look down to the first story. Usually that would be over the living area. This home, it's very modest in my opinion. There's nothing too grand or luxurious here. I really wanted to keep in tone with a French farmhouse, so it's very minimalist in terms of technology and renovations. I feel like a lot of it would be the natural stonework and the natural wood from when the house was originally built. So I tried to keep with that kind of theme. It doesn't mean it looks trashy or anything, that's for sure. I love the cozy, it's a cozy cottage feel. It's just in a bigger home than your typical cottage. And of course, that means we have to get some claw feet tubs in here. I put a vanity, I get some more sunflowers. Even though this isn't the eldest daughter's bathroom, this is the master bedroom ensuite. I kept tying that in. I get a little stool there, and then I just raise the flowers up to put them on top. So you can use the 9 and 0 keys to do that, or you can use the tool mod to get a more precise raising of the item. I don't often use the tool mod. I'll typically place it on another shelf and put that shelf at the level that I want the item to be on the table or counter or wherever it's going. I used a lot of green tones in this home because the father likes green. I believe I have the mother liking reds as well. And then the youngest daughter is going to be big into blues. So we got all the primary colors here, plus one secondary color. And yeah, it just all ties in nicely without being overly matchy. I mean, this is definitely a little bit matchy, but I said overly, so I don't think this is overly matchy. I also want to point out that the vanity is technically unusable because I turned the chair on an angle like that. It's easily fixable. You would just go into build mode in your game and pick the chair up and put it down normally, and your Sims can use it like they would any other vanity. I'm dropping in some hobby objects right now because I wanted to make sure that I got a lot of stuff that aligned with the Sims family, or this house this household that's going to be living here. I don't know how I want to phrase that, but I feel like you guys know what I mean. The Sims are going to be living here, and their hobbies, I wanted to make sure I had all those taken care of. So we have mentioned that the oldest daughter owns a flower shop. Of course, we get a flower arranging table in there. We also get some garden beds. I'm assuming they're going to be used for flowers, but I guess if you download this, you don't have to put flowers in them. You can grow whatever you want, and you don't have to use the family that I made for this home. This is all yours now from here on out. So whatever you want to do with my build, go for it. If you want to download it to bulldoze it, have at her. If you want to download it and renovate it, oh my god, I would love if you shared pictures with me. So feel free to do that, guys. I've never said that before, but absolutely, any of my builds, I'd love to see if you renovate them. I'm working on the kitchen now, so again, I wanted to keep it kind of old style. I picked some more Victorian looking cabinets. I believe I sorted the furniture by French country and farmhouse style. I might have included vintage or Victorian in there as well. Is it Queen Victorian or Queen Anne that I'm thinking? I feel like I kept with just the French country and the farmhouse theme though, and then at the end I'll take those styles off and add in whatever applicable objects I'm missing, probably the easel in the teen daughter's room, items like that I want to be more fine-tuned to the family. There's some more of the greens coming through too. I adore these tables from, I want to say that this one is from My Wedding Stories, but I think Horse Ranch got one too with the long table runner like that, and I just love that added attention to detail. I know a lot of people probably wish that that was a removable thing, but I don't know. I'm okay with it on some tables. I think it looks nice, and I work with what I got. I don't complain. I remember Sims 3, how laggy that create a style tool was. Oh my god, the amount of times it crashed my game so wasn't worth it. Never mind, it would take a literal week real time just to build a house because you had to create a style, everything naturally, and it was so much easier to be matchy-matchy, which isn't really a good thing when it comes to interior design. Too much matchy-matchy just looks like blah. You need pops of color and different wood tones and textures to really liven up a room, I think. I really apologize if there's a little bit of weird sound there. I bumped the mic a little bit. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. I am really cluttering up this kitchen right now. I want it to feel homey and lived in. The family that lives here loves to bake and cook, so naturally they've got all the gadgets and accessories hanging about for that. They've got their tea for their quiet afternoons, reading by the cozy fire, the eggs for the chickens that they have and the eggs that they lay that they can collect, obviously. I love it, and I love that the different pieces of the upper cabinets make it look so customized. Like, I put all the items there, but I didn't, obviously. Yeah, I must be doing the lights because I'm sorting by style. That's the only reason I can see, because I literally never do lights throughout the build like this. I really don't mind it. It gives you an idea of what the coloring will be in the home with the lighting that comes with that light. I do have Tool installed, so sometimes I tweak the light colors and brightness in build mode, but that's something you can do through your Sims in live mode, so no problem there on your end. If you don't have Tool and you want to customize the lights, just know that you always have that option. So if you're sold on the light fixture style but not on the lighting that it provides, always remember that you can change the lighting in live mode. You are not set in stone on that. I used a lot of wall lights in this home too. I wanted a lot of warm lighting and cozy tones. So yeah, we went with the yellowy light color. I honestly prefer that in real life too. It's less harsh than a bright light. I do something funny in this room too. I I don't know. This family has a chicken coop, and I was like, as soon as I saw this rooster, I thought, how great would it be if I built them like a chicken shrine above their piano? So I went through looking for all things chicken for a moment there, and there weren't too many, but I definitely utilized them all. It adds a little touch of character to the family living here too, I think. It's like a conversation piece when they have guests over. Their guests will be like, "Oh, you really like chickens, don't you?" And then, yeah, they'll start talking about their chicken raising and send them home with some farm fresh eggs and make some new best friends out of that. I'm keeping with the calm color tones in the bedroom. Like I said, the father in this family likes the greens, so there's a lot of light tones here. I also played around with the wood colors. I got some white wood in the bedroom as opposed to all the dark wood running through the rest of the home, so I feel like that's a little refreshing touch. At this point, I feel like I'm just going through the catalog and filling in any furniture I can that I like in the styles that I'm sorting by. So that's why we're kind of bouncing all over the place. Usually, when I do a speed build, I try my best to do room by room so that it doesn't get so overwhelming with the spinning around and stuff, but when I sort by style, it sometimes works out a little differently because rather than sorting through by room in the build by catalog, it almost feels like I see all of my items available to me if I show all, and then it's not so overwhelming to look through all the items when you're only looking at like two styles. So, yeah, because a lot of stuff is sorted kind of weird. You have to go into the shelving through the item search rather than the room search, and it just feels a little all over the place. And yeah, I wanted to see what all my options were and use as many as I could. I also don't know if that front wardrobe thing is going to be usable or if it's more just decoration, because I did overlap two closet pieces like of the hanging clothes, so I don't know if they're gonna intersect with each other and then make it so that your Sims can't change there, but the intention wasn't really for your Sims to be able to change at the front door. It's more decoration and aesthetic going with the toning into reality of this save file, which we know by this point in watching my YouTube channel, if you've been here a little while, that I am all about the realism in my game as much as I can be, and that's just my play style. So even in my Let's Plays, I try and be a little bit out of my comfort zone and a little bit wacky with what I do with my Sims, but at the end of the day, I am probably one of the more tame and maybe even cozy gamer in the community. I feel like a lot of Sims content creators, and not that this is a bad thing by any means, because I feel like this is more the majority of Sims players. Maybe I'm wrong too, though. I don't actually know, but I feel like they're more wild and out there in their gameplay. Like, they definitely do a lot more with the different deaths in the game and occults, and I'm just not big into occults in particular. So even deaths relating to occults, I don't gravitate towards that kind of gameplay. I gravitate towards more natural storylines and story progression comparatively to real life. Yeah, I'm boring, I guess. I've always just used Sims as an escape from the real thing, but then I make it like the real thing, but a happy go lucky real thing. My Sims have a very particular personality that I tend to do as well. Lots of writers, lots of painters, lots of chefs, lots of artsy, crafty kind of Sims. So, if you can't tell, that's probably my favorite, like, build and interior design style too. I've really loved doing cottages, so I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's the nature. I think I love being in nature, so doing a nature themed build just calls to me. And of course, I have to get a picnic blanket in a home like this. This is the kind of family that's going to sit outside on a Saturday afternoon in the summertime and have a freaking picnic in their backyard. Like, for no reason, just because it's nice out and they want to enjoy the sunshine, and they'll listen to the birds chirping and tend to their bees. That is far out of my comfort zone. I would never, 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 never keep bees, but good on you to those that do, because that is a scary profession to me. I got stung so bad by a bee when I was like 5 or 6, and it traumatized me. So I'm terrified. I will run screaming from a bee, and I am almost 30, and no shame about that. I am scared of bees. Wasps, yeah, whole hornets, whole lot of them. Don't like any of them. Just not a friend of mine. I don't go out of my way to harm them. In fact, I don't, because I can't kill bugs. I'm afraid, so I can't. And yeah, I just run away screaming, go indoors, and hope for the best. The last bedroom that I did and talked my whole way through was the elder daughter's room. The younger daughter, that's a teenager still, I originally went with greens, but I'm fairly certain I changed all of this out for lighter wood tones and blue. Yeah, there it is. And I did get her an easel because she is going to be big into painting. She'll like baking too with her mom. Her mom's big into kitchen themed hobbies, so gardening, baking, cooking, and the daughter that's into flower arranging, she's gonna like gardening and fishing, so more outdoorsy activities. I feel like she's more in line with her father's love of the outdoors, whereas the teen daughter is more in tune with her mom's slow living, homesteading, learning how to make all the recipes from scratch and passing them down through the generations. Very, very traditional home wife kind of character. So, yeah, nothing wrong with that either if that's your style. Like, be who you want to be. I want to be a housewife sometimes, and other days I love the badass work boss that I am, and there's that. But most days I would love to be a housewife that just cooks and cleans and takes care of kids, because right now there's two of us working and trying to do all of the listed stuff, and wow, is it tough. So yeah, it's worth it though. Kids are cute. We love them. I'm just adding as much character to these rooms as I can. I really wanted to show that that was more of a teenage room than an adult room, and kind of differentiate between whose room would be whose if you download this from the gallery. Upstairs, above the like multi-generational apartment that we have, there is this whole other living space that in my mind was probably a playroom kind of area when the girls were younger, and has since evolved into a workspace for the father and more of just a comforting place to go and read a book at the end of a long day. They have a little mini library up there. The dad is going to be a university professor, so it helps for him to have his desk tucked away in the corner, and he's big into handiness, so if he wants to get a break and work on some hobbies, he's got his workbench there as well. I really struggled with filling this part of the home in, probably because I was running out of unique items to use at this point. This was a very big house to do in a particular style, and like only that style. I did put this little kid's playhouse in here just to show that it was probably a playroom. And I like the idea of the eldest daughter moving into that apartment and then getting married and having a family of her own here. And then her kids can come play with her old dollhouse upstairs at Grandma and Grandpa's house. I love thinking of these cute little storylines for my Sims. It makes it more fun to build when I'm building and decorating for a particular personality in mind. I really just have fun with it. I go all out as much as I can. I do put laundry in this home. I feel like maybe the vibe that I was going for was kind of old-timey, but we're not necessarily living in an old-timey world. So yeah, I just accepted that there was going to be a washer and dryer here. But I do believe that I put the hand washing basket and a clothesline on the outside yard, so you do have the option to do that. And because this little apartment was designed with that eldest daughter in mind, we did make it very much yellow because that is her favorite color. So why not make it her style and ready to move on in? When you download this house from the gallery, it will be shown as just a residential lot. I didn't section off the two different apartments because really you can just download this and use it as a normal home and just put whatever Sims you want living in this separate area. So yeah, you don't need for rent to make this home work, but if you do have for rent, I think it would be better played by making this front piece its own apartment separate from the base house on the back of it, just for more, I don't know, easier playability. I feel like your Sims autonomously wouldn't know what to do with this house if it wasn't sectioned off with for rent. Like, you'd have a bigger sink issue because now there's two more sinks in the home for Sims to go and get confused by. But like I said, it doesn't mean you can't play here. You absolutely can. It just, you're gonna have some tweaking around to do with your Sims periodically when they're being stubborn, as Sims can be. There isn't too much of this build left. There's a lot of just final touches going in at this point. We've got all the base furniture down, all the little quirks and hobbies for the Sims to do. I'm filling in stuff like closets, garbage cans, bathrooms, tweaking flooring a little bit to, I don't know, blend a little better. I didn't like the options that I had when it came to the stonework in this home. I felt pretty limited in the styles that I was sorting by, and I tried my best not to stray from those styles. I'm also hoping that your Sims can walk through that laundry room no problem. Sometimes those clothes on the floor can cause an issue for being in the way of your Sims when they're trying to walk by, but I am really hopeful that there is enough space in that room that it won't be an issue. At this point, I mostly just have the terrain paint for the flowers and this backyard space left. I have the front bit done, obviously walking up to the home, and then I love that I got all these little gnomes in that front garden area. It's another quirky characteristic of this home and a piece of personality for the family that lives there. I did get another tea set in, and there are 2 fireplaces here. The cozy vibes are strong here, and I am here for it. I'm all about the cozy. I know we've briefly popped on in the inside for some decorating, but I do want to mention too that the outside yard, the archway that it has there is actually a wedding arch, and it's ready to go for when your young adult daughter is ready to get married to whoever her love interest ends up being, and then again when the teen daughter gets to that stage. So I really love that this home is a grow into kind of home, even though the family is kind of all grown up already in its own way a little bit. It feels so family oriented, and I love it. I also love the layout of this yard. I feel like it really works naturally and has a purpose in every little corner of it. And I love when things have a purpose and are made to be efficient. It just makes sense that way. So, yeah, I really hope you liked this build. I really enjoyed building it. Like I said, I love doing cottagey builds, and I am working on a Henford build. It is another big one, so it's going to be quite some time before that one is ready to be out on YouTube for you guys. But yeah, it will fit the vibes much like this one does. And I look forward to sharing that with you as well. So hopefully you are going to look forward to that, and maybe will subscribe so you're here when it comes out. But if not, you can also comment or like to help me out in the algorithm, get more people coming my way, seeing my content. I'm just here for a good time and to have fun. So hopefully you're having fun with me and here for the ride. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy the last little bit of final touches and then that final walkthrough that you know we always do at the end of these speed builds. Bye guys!